Hello, welcome. My name is Tracy. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator here in Central Victoria, Australia. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today we're going to make this gorgeous shaker card. It's using a few of the new products in the Holiday Catalogue that Stampin' Up have just brought out. It's also using a few of the newer products in the annual catalogue as well. So super fun card. Let's bring in some of the items that we're using. So like I said, I am using some of the new stuff in the Holiday Catalogue. This started and went live on the 4th of September, so it's fairly new. Absolutely love everything in here, and I will say this stamp set is my all-time favourite in the catalogue. And I like that it's not just a Christmas stamp set, so there's sentiments in there that is good for all occasions. So let's bring the stamp sets in that I have used. We have the Playful Penguins. There is 3 images of the penguins. There's also a few accessories, so a scarf, a bow tie and a hat. But I love these sentiments, so let me just tell you what the sentiments say. Nothing warms the heart quite like good friends. Merriest wishes, you're so cool. May your New Year's dreams come true, and always by my side. So some really nice sentiments there that could be used on a card. I'm also using a new stamp set in the Holiday Catalogue called Snowfront, and you don't have to use this one. I just wanted to use those backgrounds here in the background, so you really don't have to use this, but I had these new stamp sets sitting on my desk and I just had to start using them. So that's the only stamp that I've used in this set. And also on the background of this card, I've used the new Birch Stamp. It's a background stamp. It was in the annual catalogue, so not completely new, but new from the annual catalogue. I've created this gorgeous frame here, which is so lovely, using the heirloom frame dies and embossing folders. So let me just show you that. It actually comes in a oval as well as a square, and then we have matching framelits here that go with that. So this is the set. I'm using some gorgeous ribbon, and this was in the annual catalogue. It's Old Olive and Pretty Peacock, and it's a reversible ribbon. So let me just pull this out to show you. So on one side is the Old Olive and the other side is the Pretty Peacock. Absolutely gorgeous ribbon and really nice to tie beautiful bows and projects with that one. We're using the largest in the oval layering dies as well, so I'm just going to grab that one out. To make the shaker cards, we're using the foam adhesive strips. I have white embossing paste and we're using the heat tool. I'm using the classic label punch for that sentiment. Inks, we have Versamark ink and Pool Party. Some new things from the Holiday Catalogue. We have the Ice Stampin' Glitter, and that's what I'm using for my shaker piece. So you can see that all in there. It looks like snow to me. Absolutely beautiful. And we're also using the Snowfall Accents puff paint. So let me bring this up nice and close. Can you see those penguins in the background there? Their bellies, they've all got puff paint on it, so it looks really great in person. It's probably a little bit harder to see on the camera, but it's it does look really great. So I have my card kit here and it's all ready to go. You can find all the measurements and supplies over my blog. There is a link to this blog post in the description of this video. There's also a link to my online store where you can purchase all your Stampin' Up supplies if you live in Australia and you don't already have a demonstrator. Now, if you aren't working with a demonstrator right now and you would like a copy of this Holiday Catalogue, send me an email and I'll have my email in the description as well, and I can send you out one of these copies. So our base card is Pretty Peacock, and it's half a piece of A4, cut in half, scored in half, and I'm just going to fold it straight in half as well, burnishing with a bone folder. We can pop that to the side. We don't need that for a little while. I have a matting piece that is Pretty Peacock as well. We have a piece of Pool Party, which is behind the shaker card, have a piece of window strip, window sheet, and this is really thick plastic, really great product that Stampin' Up carries. Piece of thick Whisper White, we're going to cut out, or Stampin' cut out our penguins there. And then I've just got a bit of scrap, and it's Pool Party and Whisper White, and that's just for our sentiment. Now I am going to change this card up just slightly. I tried to make a ruffled ribbon piece down here. I'm not really sure. I'm not really 100% keen on how it looks, so I'm going to change it up just slightly, so we'll see which one you like better. So we're going to start off with our beautiful frame here, and for that I'm going to die cut the oval first. So let's bring the big shot in. So we're just going to set the oval die through, and this is the way I found it easier to line these up. If you want to put the embossing through first, you could. So I have that all cut out. There's my frame. Then I'm going to bring the embossing folder in. And what I want to do is I want to try and line this up. And what I did is I held onto it, the front piece. I lined it up so I had a nice even border all the way around. I think that looks good. So I'm holding on to that cardstock. I'm closing it just like that, so I still am happy with how it's layered. Then I'm going to open up the big shot so I can emboss this piece. So we're using the one cutting plate, but I'm also going to need some pieces of thin cardstock as a shim. Run that one through. Now each big shot is different, so you'll have to just play around to see how many pieces you need. I'm really happy with how that turned out. So that gives us that gorgeous frame there. While we have this out, I'm also going to bring in that piece of window sheet. So we have our piece of window sheet, and I want to cut that largest oval. Makes it a little hard to see, doesn't it? There we go. Pop the lid on and run it through. And we have our front of our shaker card. I don't think I said memento before. We're going to stamp the two penguins with the memento ink. And these are just going to be fussy cut out as well. Now our piece of Pool Party is going to be layered over the top of that oval frame. So what we want to do is we want to create these mountain backgrounds here. So I'm going to bring in that mountain stamp from the Snowfront stamp set, and I'm going to heat emboss these mountains with the white embossing powder. So we're going to ink that up with the Versamark ink. And we're just going to do these randomly. It doesn't show up a real lot in the background, and that's why you don't have to do this. This is not a requirement. It just gives it that nice little bit of a background to the shaker card. I'm going to do one more. My white embossing powder here, and I'm just going to place that all on the top to give us our snow peaks. There we go. Using the heat tool, we're just going to melt that powder and create those beautiful snow peaks. There we go. So I'm going to pop that to the side. We're going to come back to these penguins and we're going to make those puffy chests of theirs. So I have my Snowfall Accents puff paint. You need to make sure that this is really well mixed. So let's give it a good shake. And we're just going to colour in that white chest of the penguin. Now I've also found with this, if the first time it doesn't puff up real well, what you do is you come back in with some more of the accent and then heat that up with the heat tool. And I found the second time round it just works really well. But I have been able to get it to work first time too, so I don't know whether it's the temperature outside or what takes into effect, but if it doesn't work the first time, you just go back over it. So let's heat that up with the heat tool. Okay, so you can see that some of that has puffed up, but not as much as I was hoping. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go back over and just go over it again. And the second time it'll puff up heaps. See how that works so much better, and you can just squish it down a little bit. But that is really nice and puffy now, and it looks absolutely beautiful. So before we start cutting that out, I just want to bring in a gel pen, a white gel pen, and I just want to colour in that part of the beak there just to make that really nice and white. And we can even do its eyes. There we go. Just gives that little bit more definition there. So we're going to fussy cut these two out. I'm going to fast forward this so it doesn't take so long, and I'll be back in a second. How cute are these little penguins? I love them. Before we start popping our card together, I want to do my sentiment. So I have a piece of, just a scrap piece of Whisper White. I'm going to take my Pool Party ink, and we're using the sentiment that says, "You're so cool," which I think is a lovely sentiment to have. So just stamp that in the middle. I'm going to punch out with the classic label punch the sentiment, as well as the Pool Party card as well. That's a little bit too small, so I'm just grabbing a post-it note. And I'm going to use that to hang on to my card. So punch that one out, get rid of that post-it note on the back. I'm also going to punch out the Pool Party piece. So there is our sentiment pieces. I'm going to bring the card base in with the background stamp, the Birch background stamp. And what I want to do is I want to just ink that up with the Versamark ink. I don't mount these background stamps, I just leave them on my table. So I'm going to pop that down into the Versamark ink. I'm going to grab a block. I'm just going to push down onto that stamp to get a nice even coverage all the way along. And this just creates a little bit of a background. It's quite subtle, but it's just enough so it's not plain, which I thought was really nice. So we can start popping everything together now. This piece of Pool Party needs to be cut down a little bit, so what I want to do is place that in the middle, and then I'm just going to chop off these 4 corners here with some scissors. There we go, so that gives us that sort of a shape in the background. Excellent. And we need to stamp, we need to adhere our penguins down. So I sort of want to get it into a position of where my penguins are going to be, making sure that I'm going to be able to see both of them. So about there, like that. Okay, so I can get rid of my frame, and these are the parts of the, this is where I want them to be glued down. So popping a little bit of multi-purpose glue underneath. That's cool. Okay, so I can move that to the side a little bit. I need to glue my window sheet down, and the way I did that, because we don't want our glitter to go everywhere, I used tear and tape, and I just popped off little bits here and there to glue all the way around that frame. So just popping that window sheet straight down over the top, that gives us a nice little window. And then we're going to bring in some of those foam adhesive strips in, and I'm going to run a strip all the way around that frame. So I've got one long string of it here, and I'm trying to get it as close to the edge of that frame as possible, so I don't have to have quite so much of that glittered ice glitter in there. It's really easy to do. I'm just going to cut off a little bit of that. So the piece that I put in here is going to be a little bit bigger. So I've got that. There's not really a gap in between, but I can stick another piece just there to stop if any comes through. So where that gap is, I've just stuck another bit here to stop any glitter coming through. So I need to turn this over, and I'm going to stick the glitter inside. So this is the ice stamping glitter. That might be a bit too much. Let's just take a little bit out. I think that may be too much. That I think is going to be really good. Okay, so we're going to take our sticky backing off. Making sure that that's straight. Gonna stick this over the top. Yeah. How cute is that? So we're going to stick some dimensionals on the back here to pop that up off the card base. I'm going to stick this straight down onto that pretty peacock card base. There we are. So our sentiment, I'm going to layer the two together and just glue one over the top. Oh, not on the camera, sorry. And I want to leave the top to be the pool party piece. Okay. And I wasn't sure, well, I really don't like the ruched ribbon in the back there, so I thought what I might do is I might just layer a piece of ribbon down and stick this over the top, and I can banner cut those ends as well. I'm going to run just a length of the tear and tape down on that ribbon. And I think I might pop this sentiment up, so let's bring some dimensionals in for that as well. I'm gonna ribbon cut these ends. Let's do this other side now. I know there's an easier way of doing that, but anyway, that's cute. Let me just clean off this mess a little bit. So here are the two cards. Which one do you like the best? I think I'm going to go this one, because I do rather this ribbon this way than in the ruched ribbon. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed today's card. If you have, please give me a thumbs up, and I'd love it if you left me a comment. You can also share this video, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Don't forget, for anyone who orders through me, use that hostess code on my online store, and not only will you get a free gift from me, you'll also get a tutorial bundle sent through that are PDF printables, and that'll be sent through your email. Okay, until next time, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you all very soon. See you later.